Contrary to the search engine's propaganda and uninformed popular belief, cloaking or IP delivery is anything but dead. I'm Michaela McNamara, editor of CAP, and today, for the first time ever, Ralph Tegmeyer, aka Phantom Master, will discuss why Cloaking 3.0 is more powerful than ever and continues to dominate the search engine result pages like no other SEO technology. Today, Ralph will be covering real-world case studies illustrating what's actually possible, traps and pitfalls to avoid, the most successful practices to adopt, and the optimal approach to things in terms of affiliate marketing and you. If you have any questions about any of the content Ralph is presenting today, as always, we will be providing our extended Q&A session for the last portion of the webinar. You're welcome to submit your questions throughout the presentation using the question panel in the GoToWebinar panel on your right, and I'll be fielding those questions for you. But before we get started, I'd like to thank today's webinar sponsor, the Barcelona Affiliate Conference, or BAC, where Ralph will also be presenting in October. BAC is back in the sunny coastal city of Barcelona, giving over 2,000 affiliates and affiliate programs the perfect environment to make new contacts and do business. With over 100 affiliate programs in attendance and some of the best known names in SEO and marketing, every affiliate is sure to leave with great deals, take-home strategies, and a fantastic industry network. Just like last year, BAC will also incorporate IGB España. This is a niche event dedicated to one of the most lucrative markets available in online gambling, Spanish-speaking sector. Meet local affiliate programs, affiliates, and learn about the latest developments and opportunities in the Spanish-speaking markets. So put the dates in your diary and attend on October 3rd through the 6th for one of the most comprehensive and well-respected affiliate events of the year. Be sure to catch Ralph's presentation there as well. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome our guest speaker, Ralph Tegmeyer. Ralph, aka Phantom Master, has been active in website development and web marketing since 1994. He was the co-founder and principal of PhantomMaster.com GmbH Belgium, a company specializing in webmaster software development, industrial strength cloaking, and a variety of upmarket search engine optimization tools and services. He pioneered, among other things, such as Benchmark products as the world's most comprehensive database of verified search engine spiders, fully automated IP delivery applications, link building network administration software, and automated customized content creation. Ralph is now primarily pursuing the development of intelligent mass content generation for SEO purposes, as well as conducting consultation work and seminars. You can find his contact information here on the page if you want to get in touch with him after today's presentation. Ralph, that is a very robust resume. Welcome. Thank you so much. We're very glad to have you here today.
Well, thank you for having me, and welcome everybody. Thanks for attending.
Great. I'll pass everything off to you.
Okay, fine. So after this nice introduction, let's not waste any more time on me as a person. Let's rather go on and have a look at what cloaking is all about. Here's just a brief overview of some clients I've been working for in the course of my online history and biography. The whole point about cloaking is, of course, to find out what it is in the first place, and there's a lot of rumors around, and so I'll make this clear right from the start. With the cloaking I'm talking about here is IP delivery. We're not talking about hiding affiliate links under some URL shortener setup or something, which is fine, but the cloaking I'm talking about is actually about what's called technically IP delivery, and I'll explain what that is in a minute. On a cloaked web page, traffic is basically split up. This is done by a special piece of software. It's split up between search engine spiders, or crawlers as they're also called. They are presented with cloaked pages or a cloaked site, whereas non-search engine spiders, that's mainly humans, but also some other bots, because there's lots of bots who will check for availability or accessibility of sites. They'll do some crawling or even harvesting of email addresses, which are spam bots, of course. Anyway, humans, to cut a long story short, are presented with landing pages or sites, or they're actually transferred there. So this has to be determined by some unique factor, and the factor we're using for that is the IP address. That's because search engine spiders have their own IP addresses, and if you're working from a good database which is up to date, then you can actually determine that this particular visitor on the site is a search engine spider and not a human or something else. And it's only the search engine spiders that are actually presented with that kind of different content than the human visitors. It's pure spider fodder. Now the question, of course, is there, how effective is it? Well, guess what? They don't like it. And the reason they don't like it is, of course, because it is very effective, and that's the whole point of this presentation today. Why don't they like it? That's because the search engines actually want full control. They want the full control over the index of what they're actually presenting to users who are using them or putting in queries and so on. So basically, they want to be in charge of everything, or that their spiders must rule, and they don't want you as webmasters to actually manipulate the search results. Well, so do we. We want some control as well, and that's what cloaking and cloaking software and as a strategy is all about, really, showing the spiders their place. Now, some of you may be aware of this and say, well, wait a minute, isn't there this thing that's been going on for ages, really? There's a rumor that cloaking was actually dead. A lot of search engine representatives will try to make you believe that that cloaking, is so outre that it's so old-fashioned and no longer state of the art, and that they're way beyond it, and that they can detect cloak pages all the time. Well, that's what you can call rumors or propaganda, because the truth is anything but. Cloaking is about as dead as search engine optimization, and some of you will follow the industry newsletters will probably be aware of the fact that a lot of that is claimed all the time again, but that's usually link bait. It's as dead as search marketing, or for that matter, as dead as internet commerce, meaning that it's not even smelling funny. On the other hand, let everyone else continue to believe it. That's good for you, because if so, the less competition you'll have to deal with. So it may not be in your best interest to actually point it out to people. Cloaking is actually alive and kicking. And with IP delivery sites, we're still dominating the SERPs like gangbusters, and I'll give you an example later. That's surely no tall claim, and that's been going on for years. Cloaking, seriously, is something that actually rocks, and I'll show you why. So why is cloaking that powerful in the first place? Well, one of the main reasons, or some of the main reasons, one is versatility. Cloaking can be adjusted to any niche, market, and location, including, for example, extreme government censorship scenarios, such as the Great Firewall of China. My company is, among other things, expert in actually defeating the Great Firewall of China, which is very interesting, for marketers who want to market products the Chinese government censorship doesn't want them to market, especially in the gambling field. But it's also very interesting for dissident sites, for political activists, and people like that who are having a hard time reaching the Chinese market. And that is eminently possible by using something like IP delivery. Cloaking works with brute force optimization. That's because all critical on-site factors can be varied and escalated in countless iterations by orders of magnitude. 3 examples out of many other: that's keyword-rich content, PR sculpting, integration of RSS feeds. What I'm saying about escalating this by orders of magnitude means that if you say create a website where you have one page featuring a certain service or product of yours and on a certain page, you don't actually have to restrict yourself to that. You can actually create 50 or 100 or 1,000 or even a million pages, all with different, keyword density, always different PR sculpting. PR sculpting, of course, that's page rank sculpting, on-site links with different headers and titles and so on, just to, basically throw it at the wall and see what sticks. That's nothing you can really do with a website that is actually targeting human visitors. That's supposed to be for human consumption. You can integrate stuff like RSS feeds and even graphics, which sounds a bit strange because obviously cloaked pages will always be invisible to human visitors, but the spiders will often, determine whether a page looks valid or not, and that depends on stuff like, well, does it have graphics? Does it have some icons? And just like any ordinary white hat page, and all of that can be simulated, and what's more important, even, it can be automated and escalated. So it doesn't mean that you have to go away, manually creating 50,000 pages. That would, of course, not really do the trick. And instead, with a proper software, you can actually, create endless sites like that within an hour or less. There's also the automation advantage that you have what I've just pointed out, an unprecedented degree of flexible variance. You can embed semantic clouds routinely. You can corner the long tail without dedicated effort, meaning, let's say you are targeting a page for whatever, blue widgets. If you create your content properly, chances are very, very high that you'll get a hell of a lot of blue widgets long tail terms as well, like searching for blue widgets, or where are the best and the cheapest blue widgets, and this, that, and the other. This is all basically automated and created via software, so you don't really have to nurse your own headache on that. Because the other aspect of automation, of course, is, and that's where it gets really interesting, scalability. So no matter how competitive your niche is, or what search engines may roll out by way of countermeasures to fight what they term as search engine spam, the immense scalability of this approach basically boils down to mass makes class, because even if you have an attrition rate, say, by losing sites because the spiders don't like them after a while or whatever, the whole point about automation and scalability is that you lose one site, you roll out 5 more, and you do the math and try to compare that to what's possible with white hat search engine optimization. And so you can see it's quite an uneven kind of competition there, because it really gives you an unfair advantage wholesale. And there's invulnerability. Now, that is something that most people are not really aware of, and you'll always find lots and lots of people who have not a single clue about cloaking, telling you that cloaking will get your site banned. Well, yeah, it is true. It can get your site banned if you don't do it right. If you use your ordinary white hat money site and push cloaked links or cloaked sites or pages that are pumping the traffic there, then that actually may get you into jeopardy. But the whole point is that we don't work that way at all in the first place. What we do is we may take your money site, for example, when we run a campaign for you, and then clone it. We'll clone it and keep the search engine spiders out. They won't even be indexed or crawled. Why not? Because that avoids any duplicate content issues, and your cloak traffic will actually be forwarded to that clone site, and your white hat or money site won't ever be affected. So you can, enjoy a state of utter deniability, because you still have your white hat super squeaky clean site running with all those nice handcrafted it's web pages you've created, whereas you might actually make your money on the sly, as it were, by using cloaking setup and on a site which the search engines can't ban because they don't even index it in the first place. So obviously, I'm just giving you kind of a nutshell, in a nutshell, introduction to this whole approach, because we can't really, in a webinar like this, we can't really get into all the fineries. But I hope it gives you a fairly good indication of what we're actually talking about when we come to that. SERP saturation. Don't just aim for position number 1. How about aiming for positions number 1 through 7? Only this approach enables you to actually do that. You can actually dominate search engine results pages or SERPs by saturating them with countless different cloaked websites, or we term shadow domains. And that way you'll actually corner the lion's share of organic search queries for any given market. Plus, if a site or page happens to drop down, then there's still plenty of others to maybe even rise or rise up in the rankings, or to replace it. And again, scalability means that in a worst case scenario, if you lose 10 sites, you roll out 100 new ones. And if you can keep this up, and the ROI, of course, justifies it, then there's actually basically no way the search engines can actually prevent you from achieving your aims. It does take, of course, quite a bit of expertise to do this. But anyway, in summary, again, it's the versatility, the brute force optimization, it's the automation, the scalability, which the automation enables you to leverage. Is the invulnerability of your money sites if you do this properly, if you set it up in the right way. And it's the prospect of SERP saturation rather than dwindling along on being happy about your position number 3 ranking and being all concerned about maybe dropping down to position 4 or 5 next week when there's another panda or penguin update by Google or whatever. All these factors, and there's several more, make industrial strength cloaking, in my view, in my experience, which is quite extensive now, the most powerful SEO technology extant in extremely competitive and or restrictive market spaces. However, it's not a one-fits-all approach. What cloaking cannot do for you, for example, is it won't push your money sites rankings. Instead, it pumps pre-qualified organic traffic and boosts your conversions and sales. Why? By actually enabling your cloaked pages to rank well, you're basically competing with your white hat or not cloaked pages. That's an important point, because a lot of people actually try to actually get this wrong. They think that cloaking will help them to rank their white hat money sites, something I would always advise against. Now, not every business model will allow for that, so that may be one major factor why you don't want to go for cloaking in the first place. It's not for enhancing your branding either. That's not what it's for. Anyway, that's not how branding works. But if you want to, show up as a big brand in your web space, cloaking is certainly not for you, because as I said before, it won't actually be your main or core domain that actually gets well ranked. It won't help a lot in improving your business reputation either, because for one, your competitors will hate you for it, especially if you're successful, and they'll hate how helpless they are about it. And no, they can't really detect it. They'll hate you for your success. They may be wary about what you're actually doing, but overall, it does not help you in your business reputation, just as it doesn't help your branding. So if that's important to you, you might actually want to consider other approaches. It won't give you bragging rights either. Not that you couldn't brag about it. I mean, this is perfectly possible, and it's not in any way illegal either, but you still don't want to let on about it. It's just basically a case of shut up and make more money instead, if you pardon my French, because if you give away that you're cloaking, you're basically jeopardizing your entire SEO campaigns. And now this, of course, implies that if you have people working for you, that you have to put a big stress on security and stuff like that as well. It won't get you a hug from Matt Cutts. So I'm sorry about that, but we're still working on it. Anyway, it also may not be for you if you're working in a very non-competitive space. In that case, it could well constitute an overkill for you, like using a sledgehammer to crack a nut, because there are spaces out there, quite a few actually, where you're basically only be competing with, 4, 5, maybe 10 other people. Okay, so there's always only one position number one. And even in a small niche market, you might want to dominate the SERPs, like 50, 60, 80% of the SERPs. But generally speaking, that again depends on what your ROI actually is. So at the end of the day, whether it's cheap or expensive really depends on your margins and your return on investment. It's also true that if your reputation is more important than your ROI, which of course is what branding is about mostly, or PR in terms of public relations or promotion or whatever, then cloaking is certainly not for you either. Finally, if you can't bear the heat, it may not be for you either, because all things in search are in constant flux and they require staying up to date all the time. And so that can actually take away a lot of your energy, your resources, your time, which might be better spent in actually doing what you probably do better, meaning actually selling stuff to people or giving them advice or services. Of course, you can outsource that, but that's something you'll have to do then. And if you so want that hug from Matt Cutts, well, that's an easy one actually. Just don't tell him you're cloaking and you should be all clear. Now, for the basic mechanics, what we require for a cloaking setup, we'll need a spider database, or we'll need traffic switch, and what basically happens, as you can see here in the graphics, the spider database is actually consulted to see, well, is the incoming traffic spider, in which case off to the cloaked page or site, or is it a human, in which case off to the target site or page. But so that's basically everything. What you have is a special piece of software that basically filters incoming traffic and works as a switch. That's essentially, in a nutshell, what cloaking is about. Now here I've put up a little case study we did back in May on the search term online casino UK. This is just, I'm not revealing any websites or stuff because once you tell you put that public this and that website, then of course it's very easy for a search engine editor to just go out and ban that site and trash the entire campaign. We don't want to do this. What we have here is ranking statistics, and I'm mainly showing these to you to make it clear what we mean by search saturation. And these are real-world live results from the 1st of May through the 31st of May this year for a fairly competitive area like Online Casinos UK. Now look at the marked yellow marked things only, and there you'll see the search term like casino online, in this case, position 8. Casino bonus, position 2. Best online casino, position 9. And so on and so forth. You'll even have online casino over here 10. There's actually, sometimes you'll get, because this is an aggregated statistics for the entire month, you might have the same term with different rankings in this list, and that is actually quite common. But what it does tell you is that the yellow marked cells here will also tell you these are only page 1 rankings, meaning position number 1 through 10. We're not interested in anything else in this this presentation, just to show you. And this is not where it ends. We take a look at another set. You can see here even have Casino Online on page 2. Mind you, I told you this was about Casino Online UK. I told you about the targeting the long tail, and this is something that that actually happens, and where you can actually see this in action. You see, for example, here you have bonus codes for top 10 online UK casinos. Now that may not be a very frequent search term, but still, I mean, it's long tail, and you have a position 1 here, or over here you have a position for gambling games, even though that was not specifically targeted with this campaign. You have online casinos, live games, best UK in position number 3. You have a position number 2 for free bonus, no deposit casino, no download kind of search query. You have top online casino on position number 4. You have called casino.uk on position number 10, even though this was not the site we were using. But if somebody entered that, put in that search query, you'd get a result of ours for that term on position number 10. But that's better. I mean, like gambling games, I pointed out already, but you'll also have stuff like Casino Online, which of course is nothing but a typo. But play online slot games with $1,250 free best online slots casino, which is a fairly complex query. On position 3, or you have top game online on position 2. Basically, what I'm showing you here is what SERP domination and SERP saturation is really about. And you try and get results like that with pure white hat tactics, and I'll sign up for your webinar anytime. There's no doubt about that. So again, just as a reminder, this is Online Casino UK, the campaign we're running. Here's another page which gives you another nice listings, like Casino Top Online or Online Casino Directory, page 1, Casino W UK, no, not position, sorry, page 1, position number 1, or Casino Games, position 1, no deposit casinos. If anyone's ever worked in gambling space, you will probably be able to really judge what this means, because these are really quite astounding results for anyone who's actually been trying to do SEO for online gambling, online casinos. And as I said, these are the aggregated results for one month, and we achieved these about 4 to 6 weeks into the campaign, so that's fairly fast as well. It's a fast turnover. You don't generally have to wait for like half a year or something for your campaign to gain traction. And again, you have best online slots here, for example, on position 2, and these are terms that are really absolutely relevant for whatever search engine campaign you're doing for online gambling. And again, everyone who clicked on one of those sites, that's where we actually got this from. Anyone who clicked on one of those results would actually be forwarded to one of our domains, and or rather, in this case, it was a client's domain, and would there, of course, be able to get into whatever we were offering them, like signing up for a casino gambling account, and this, that, and the other. So if you're an affiliate, for example, and I would guess that quite a few of you are, this is actually a great way to, well, get your market tied up and cornered nicely. Could be you'd actually be competing with your casino online gambling program operators quite a bit, but hey, that's what it's all about. So have a look at these terms, and there's nothing trashy about this, and it actually generates a whole lot of traffic in that way, and you can see that saturation doesn't just focus on position number 1 or even position 2. And again, we are only displaying results from page 1 here, and at least in the yellow marked part, just to make it clear that these are really top rankings you can get for your cloaked sites, mind you, not for your general white hat money sites. But that doesn't matter, because again, traffic is actually pumped to where you define it, and so people will actually end up on, human visitors will actually end up on your landing pages, just the way you actually set up your campaign. So I think these results speak for themselves. Maybe just another few here. Online casino reviews, casino no deposit bonus codes is all number 1. Or you have here casino free bonus, casinos, casino online, position 1, or online casino, without a blank in between, and this and the other. So I think that results like that is something any affiliate, certainly in any casino online program operator or provider would love to see. And again, these have been quite fresh in happening this year. So we're running out of time now, so I'm just rushed it through a bit. You can also see this in the video, which will be available for download a bit later, as Michaela's told you. Cloaking resources, and there's full disclosure here. I invented this one, and I'm in an ongoing business relationship with its current owner and development. That's the BSEO-licensed Shadow Maker. There's a link here which you can use to have a look at the details and stuff. And there's also 5% discount link. That's actually an exclusive. You won't get it anywhere else except via me, which might actually help you set off the costs a bit if you want to do it yourself. Then there's the Search Engine Spider database that's included when you sign up for the Shadow Maker. It's extremely important. Again, full disclosure, I invented this one, and I'm also in an ongoing business relationship with its current owner and developer. It's IP Grabber. It used to be called the Phantom Mass Spider Spy, but Phantom Master is no more. So it's IP Grabber now, and that's the world's largest database of verified search engine spiders, which has been continually maintained since 1999. Again, a link for the details and a link for an exclusive 5% discount if you're interested. Finally, if you want to outsource your cloaking campaigns, feel free to contact me at the coordinates listed initially, and we offer campaign services in all legal industries except adult content, which is a world to itself. That's why we're not really focusing on that. But we also have clients in the Chinese and Russian space, and our SEO Fire Dragon service, Defeating the Great Firewall of China, is really doing great, getting great results for our clients. And so basically, thank you for your attention, and here are my coordinates again, and so I'll hand over to Michaela now. Thank you.
Ralph, thank you so much. That was a great presentation, and I think our audience took away some really great information here, because I have had a lot of questions come in. So we'll start with the ones that came in initially. The first one being, how do you hide your cloaked page from users watching a cached version of a website?
That's absolutely no problem, because either you can keep out the cached, the caching function of Google's, but which is actually recommended, and actually won't do you any harm. And there's also quite a few scripts around which will actually, once the client or the user clicks on the cached version, it'll actually break the cache and send them to wherever you want to actually have them. So industrial strength cloaking is basically not detectable to humans, except for search engine editors, but only with a hell of a lot of effort, because what they actually need to do there is compare sites and be sure that they're actually dealing with a cloaked page in the first place. It's not as easy as it sounds, and it cannot always be automated and scaled, especially scaled. And then again, you know what? Search engines aren't really on the hunt for cloaked pages. This is one of their lesser problems. Yeah, you can lose your pages, but as I pointed out before, if you do it properly in an automated fashion, it's scalable. So for every page you lose, you just roll out, let's say, 10 fresh ones and go take it from there.
Great, thank you. Next question is from Christoph. You were referring to a budget earlier on halfway through your presentation. Can you be more specific on what kind of budget you were referring to?
Well, that depends on the kind of campaign, of course. Why? Because let's say you're working in a medium or not too competitive space, then you might have to set up, let's say, 50 or 100 shadow domains to achieve your target. Other competitive areas or more competitive areas, for example, like pharma or like gambling, online casinos and stuff, may require a whole lot more of resources. But like we're talking something like 200 or 250 or even more shadow domains to actually achieve these results. So you can't fix a price to that. But to be a bit more specific, talking about my company and nobody else's, of course, our campaigns start off at around $15,000 a month for a 6-month contract. But that's just the bottom line. In very many areas, I mean, you can actually multiply that by quite a few digits to actually gauge the cost. So it really depends on which markets you're working in.
Great, thank you. What types of domains do you use? TLDs, CCTLDs, or both?
Actually, the beauty about this is that you can actually use whatever you like. You can even use and save a lot of money that way. You can even use subdomains. What we always recommend and what we do in our own campaigns for clients is, of course, a healthy mix. And there's other stuff you have to consider. For example, if you're targeting the UK market, you will probably want to have a lot of UK properties to work from, because it's simply easier to get those rankings this way. Whereas, if you have a lot of cheap Chinese or .info domains or something, then you might not actually achieve optimal results. But that again depends on the type of campaign. It depends on the locale you're actually targeting, the market, and so basically anything that works. But you have to find out what actually works within your specific targeted space.
Okay, great. This is a 2-part question asked from the same person who I'm actually typing to now. So he asked, if using Shadowmaker, is there any additional backlinking work required, or did you get the results without building any backlinks? And also, if he purchases the license, is there some kind of intro training available?
To get to the second part first, yes, there will actually be a personal kind of a webinar, and that's not a video thing, which you simply download. This will be a personal one-on-one training session you'll get if you actually sign up for that. It's included. As for question 1, no, the Shadowmaker actually only generates the sites. It generates and then implements them. it installs them and this, that, and the other. You will have to conduct a lot of external link building to those sites, which ShadowMaker doesn't address, because ShadowMaker is actually focused on this one aspect, whereas everything else depends on well, whatever tools you want to use. You can use tools, ranging from Xroomer to SE Nuke or whatever to even automate that part of the process. But then, of course, you'll have to know what you're doing there as well, and that is beyond the scope of this webinar. I'm afraid I can't teach you link building now as well. Basically, the rules are the same. You'll have the same. You need to put some pretty good links to your shadow domains in order to make them rank well. On the other hand, you can actually get quite a good result, if maybe not such a sustainable one. That's where scalability comes in again. But in the short run, like you can use a lot of crap links or spam links, as the search engines would call them, to get your sites to rank, let's say for 14 days or 3 weeks or something. And of course, if that pays off, then you simply replace the sites you do tend to lose that way. You simply replace them by a multitude of new ones. But that, again, yeah, that is a separate process.
Okay, great. Someone asked if you can go back to the slide that you shared with the links for the 5% discount.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
If you wouldn't mind.
If I regain control of the slideshow.
Okay. In the meantime.
And plus, there's 2 pages actually. One for the IP grabber and one's for the software. So they're not on one page, I'm afraid.
Okay.
So
we'll keep them up for a couple seconds each one.
I'll give you the ShadowMaker one, not because it's the more expensive product, but because once you're on that site, you can look up the other items as well. Just have a look at IP grabber, and so if that is a useful response, hopefully, to that question.
I think so. Yes. Okay. Do you go after long tail search phrase traffic or single keyword traffic?
Well, as I believe I've pointed out, is actually if the way these the software we're using here, but you may use any other software around, of course. The way content is generated for these cloaked pages is that you'll target the let's say the short tail keywords. Could be just one term, but 2, maybe online casino being 2 terms, for instance. But the way the content is generated, the long tail will usually be included, but it is definitely important to have it. It's definitely a traffic pump, and it's also a conversion maker. So I would never advise just going for the one or the other, for that matter. But if you have a proper piece of software that does it for you, you actually don't really need more than, let's say, a short list of relevant keywords, and everything else will basically happen almost automatically.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, next question. Is there an upper limit to how many pages you publish to each cloaked site? I've experienced that Google prefers new sites below 1,000 pages. If more than 1,000 pages, seems to me that Google puts that site in a sandbox for a while, which slows down indexing speed.
Well, I agree that this can happen. Not in every market, but generally speaking, that's a fair and sound bit of advice. And I would say, when we roll out a first site, first shadow domain, we usually stick around. Well, it depends on the number of keywords we're actually targeting, but then we don't put all keywords into one single site anyway. So. What we'll do there is usually stick even under 100, or at least under a 500. And yes, technically speaking, nothing can prevent you from actually rolling out 1,000,000 sites, but I would do that in a drip feed mode, and to keep the sites updated, for the spiders to come again and again, and for them to see something's happening on that site. That's where it actually comes in, and so yeah, start small and fairly unobtrusive, and then ramp it up from there. That's my advice too.
Okay, great. Next question. If you could pick one of the resources you mentioned, what would you recommend for a smaller affiliate?
Well, I've only mentioned two, and that's the IP grabber software, which, well, not the software, the database, which will not do you a hell of a lot of good if you don't have some cloaking script to work from. So it's basically more a question of, are you willing to do it yourself, or are you willing to outsource it to some experienced company who can run cloak campaigns for you, rather than which one to use or not. Else, okay, but then of course I've said I'm biased. I don't know of any product, any program or app around that can beat ShadowMaker. It's one of the reasons why we developed it. When we started out originally, there was quite a few cloaking softwares or programs around, and our aim was to actually beat them all at what they were doing, and I think we succeeded. And it's not your cheapest piece of software, absolutely not, but on the other hand, it's so powerful, it really gives you basically unlimited control over what you're doing.
Okay, great. Okay, next question. How does cloaking in general help my white hat site if you're only targeting the cloned sites?
It doesn't. It's not supposed to. The point is, if you have a white hat site and you have cloaked domains, for example, pumping links at it, which we wouldn't do, but just as by way of an example, these links might get detected, and it might actually lead to a penalty for your white hat site. Same if Google detects shadow domain traffic in whichever way being pumped to your white hat site. Or let's take another example. You set up a campaign with lots of shadow domains, you get decent rankings, you get plenty of traffic, and all this traffic is actually forwarded to your white hat site. Now that's what your competitors can find out. They won't find out that you're actually cloaking, but they will find out that your white hat site is actually being targeted for that traffic, and that's exactly what you want to prevent. Because basically you want to be, let's say, a hypocrite there in terms of your SEO campaigns, because that's exactly what the search engines are as well. They don't own the content. They don't create the stuff they're actually hawking. So they're basically living off your labor, and you just want to turn it around. So what happens is that if you keep your white hat sites apart from any of this black hat cloaking operation, you're in full denial mode. You can always show people, hey, this is just my regular white hat site, blah, and that's how it's ranked, and this, that, and the other. Whereas this cloaked stuff, if you do it properly, there won't be any trace to your white hat site. And so basically, if you manage to really pump it up and really get tons and tons of well converting traffic via your cloaked sites, you really want this to happen on a site that is not in jeopardy, that your competitors will not be able to trash, because yeah, they will then land there as well, just like your clients or customers will. But all they can tell, let's say if they snitch on you with Google, all they can tell Google, hey, there's this site there which is getting funny traffic, and Google will find out that this site doesn't even exist in its index, because you're keeping it out all the time. And so that's basically the best of both worlds.
Okay, great. Next question. If I only have 5 to 10 hours per week, how am I supposed to create 100 phantom sites? Is there a patented way to automate or streamline this process?
That's what the software is for. The software can create, let's say, it depends a bit on your hardware, but generally speaking, can easily create, let's say, 500 sites within an hour. so that you can really focus on your research. And you will still have to register those websites, okay, and you'll have to set up hosting accounts for them. But once you've done that, basically the software will even install the sites for you, and there will actually be quite a bit of indexing going on via the software alone, via, for example, RSS feeds and this, that, and the other. So I would say if you have 10 to 15 hours a week, I would strongly suggest, and your ROI merits it. That's, of course, as I pointed out before, very important. If your niche is profitable, then I would say, yeah, that's you probably need a whole lot less. Initially, maybe, the first 1 week or two, maybe you wouldn't actually need these 15 hours a week. But after that, I'd say you'd, let's say, spend about an hour a week on, analyzing your stats and figuring out what to improve, and maybe another hour to let the software do it for you, and that's about it. And then you have still 13 hours to count your money.
Okay, that same person just asked, what content do I need for those sites?
You don't, because well, if we're talking ShadowMaker again, this is not a pitch for ShadowMaker, but it is a pitch for software that actually takes away all that headache from you. The content is generated automatically. How? Search results are parsed and scraped, and high-ranking sites content is used. It is then being shuffled around and sanitized and split up to avoid any copyright infringement issues, any duplicate content issues. And then from that huge database which the software creates, then site pages are actually created, which with infused keywords of yours, this, that, the other. So you don't actually have to worry about how to create the content for these sites. Remember, these pages are not for human consumption in the first place. All they have to do is make sense to the spiders, and that's what they do eminently.
Okay. For meta descriptions, can you mass generate a nice meta description for each cloaked page, as the meta description is used in the SERPs as well as the title?
If we're talking ShadowMaker, you positively can. Yes, I can't speak for other programs, but that's no problem at all.
Okay, great. I assume you don't use Google Analytics to track cloaked traffic. If yes, what analytics software can be recommended?
No, we don't use Google's analytics. Not even for white hat stuff. But that's another story, because I don't really believe in snoops. But okay, that's another story. Well, it depends. It depends on what you actually need. AWS Stats is, of course, a very simplistic kind of program. It really depends on how granular you want your stats to actually become. So I would say, just use Google and find the web statistics or traffic analysis program that actually fits the bill for you, because that really depends. Personally, when I do run occasionally, a cloak campaign for myself, I hardly bother with stats. I mean, not that with traffic stats and stuff. What I bother about is ROI, is conversions and things like that. As long as the traffic, of course, actually arrives, that's critical, absolutely. But I wouldn't really want to worry too much about that. Why? Because hey, if one campaign flounders, all you do is set up the next one and take it from there with some different parameters, maybe even the same niche, and then you start competing against yourself. What's wrong with that? As long as it actually turns a profit.
Great. Back to ShadowMaker. Can it create content for all languages?
Yes, no problem with that, and that's actually one of the reasons why we can actually defeat the Great Firewall of China, because it creates content for in simplified Chinese, but we also, as I said, working the Russian markets occasionally, and so it doesn't have to be Western characters set kind of languages, and yeah, it's basically language agnostic, as a techie would say. It doesn't care what language you're actually working in.
Okay, great. Do the affiliate programs have a problem with cloaking? Would they ever ban me from their program?
That depends on the affiliate program. Personally, well, that's just my personal view. That's just me. I'd say, hey, why should they, as long as you actually send them decent converting traffic? Some affiliate programs will take another different view of that, but frankly, I don't know a lot of them. Not of those who actually do. The whole point is what they do not want, of course, is get all kinds of junk traffic from you, because then you're just a crap affiliate in their view, and who can blame them to see it that way? But as long as the traffic you get doesn't violate copyright issues, like as I said, with the content we generate with the Shadow Maker, it doesn't. If you don't violate brands or whatever, then there's usually no problem at all. I would say 99% of all affiliate programs are fine with that. Or even better, they wouldn't know what you're doing in the first place. So all they are looking at is actually the sales you're generating. May I just add, most affiliate programs have about 95% affiliates who don't turn a dime. So if you're among the top 5%, you're a super affiliate anyway, and they don't really mind. There may be a difference. It may be a different story with some sites like eBay who do take a dim view of anything they regard as black hat SEO, but there's ways around that as well.
Great. I think we have time for one more question, and that is, where do you see cloaking evolving to in the next few years?
I think the trend will be that we will actually, continue with another technical angle. Actually, I'm very much involved in these days, namely automated content generation. Quality content that's actually human readable. Once we've actually mastered that, and we actually have, but it's not fully automated yet, we probably won't need a lot of cloaking anymore, because we can just simply, auto-generate human readable pages that will, stand, any human editor's muster, because and from then on there will be really not a lot of reasons to actually go for this kind of cloaked, hidden approach. You'll simply roll out thousands of sites on whichever topic or niche you're targeting, with top-notch content, and which is indistinguishable from stuff humans have written. Still a bit of a way to go there, but we're actually progressing nicely.
Great. Well, I believe that concludes our webinar today, and definitely the question and answer portion. I had some great questions come in, and thank you, Ralph, for answering all of them so well. Thank you to BAC for putting this webinar on. Again, don't forget to check out Ralph presenting there if you are attending BAC. Also, people had asked about the 5% discount. I will email that out to you. Ralph will give me the link. I'll be sure to send that to everyone who registered for the webinar today. I also want to mention really quickly, CAP has just launched a brand new ad network. We're really excited about it. It is the first data empowering ad network in the iGaming space. So we're really excited about that. You can check out the link on our blog. We're also going to be doing a demo and a screencast in the next few days. So it's really big news for us, and we hope you become an affiliate for us there. So just stay tuned for more info on that. And we will have this recorded version of the webinar within the next few days on the CAP blog. And Ralph, thank you again so much for everything.
Thank you for having me, and thank you to everyone for attending.
My pleasure. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.